Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I make this beautiful Abaca silk headpiece. Are you ready? So let's go straight into the tutorial. The first thing is for you to cut out your pattern like this using cardboard paper or anything, and the next stage is for you to draw out the pattern on your Abaca silk material. You cut them out and then you burn the edges. Please don't let it get black. So one technique you can use to curl your Abaca silk is to use your scissors to just pull it lightly on the edge. And the second method is you can use your hair coiler. Don't forget to dye your Abaca silk in your favorite color. So the next step is to get your 0.50 mm wire. You cut out as many pieces that you want depending on the flowers that you are making. After that, you bend it the way it's looking. And the next stage is for you to get your thread. Place the wire at the tip of each of the Abaca petals. At this point, they are still petals. It's when you put them together that they become flowers. So after that, you get your thread and then you bind it very tightly. So you do this for all your petals. In this case, I had 3 flowers and each flowers had 5 petals. So that means I had 15 petals. So I cut out 15 strands of 0.50 mm wire and then I wrapped the edges to the petals, all 15 petals. So I categorized them into 5 for one flower, another 5 for the second flower, and another 5 petals for the third flower. So when you are done, you bring all of them together, and this is what you should have if done properly. So the next step you want to take is to create your flower stamens. If you cannot find these flower stamens in the market, I suggest that you improvise by using crystal beads or any bead at all, size 6, size 8, to create your flower stamens. You can do that using 0.50 mm wire and the beads. So I think there's a tutorial for that on my channel, so that you can just go and watch how I created the hair vine. That also can be used to create your beaded stamens. So for this, I'm going to be using this one. I bought it a while ago and I still have them in many colors. And as you can see, I'm just wrapping the stamens around 0.50 mm wire so I can have a longer strand. I hope you are enjoying the class. So moving on, I have to start putting the petals together to create my flowers. You need to have your thread ready at this point, and then you put all the petals together and then you bind them tightly. But before then, ensure that you arrange them such that the stamens will stay right in the middle of the petals. That's our goal, right? So remember I said I use 5 petals to create each flowers, and that's what I'm doing right now. So when you achieve that, you get your thread and then tie the bottom as tightly as you can. So just watch me as I do that. It's pretty simple. Just go round and round and round. And when you are done with that, you can tie and cut off your excess thread. At this point, if your flowers or your petals are not sitting properly, you can still use your coiler to set them in place, spread them out the way you would love them to be. And please, I want to ask you for a favor. If you have not subscribed, this is the best time to do that so that the algorithm can show this beautiful tutorial to more people like you who needs to learn and upgrade their millinery skill. You see how it looks? So beautiful. So let's move on. At the end of the day, I have 3 flowers that has 5 petals each. So the next thing I'm going to go to is how to create my leather leaves. This is so easy to make. Like, you can just make this as many as you want. I love working with leathers. That's why you can see that I have so many colors. I buy them randomly just for emergency or just for creativity's sake, in case I feel like doing something just out of the blue. So you remember our pattern that we had earlier. You're going to place it on the wrong side of the leather and then trace it out. In this case, I need 4 leaves, and each leaf is supposed to have 2 leather patterns. So 2 leather patterns will give me 1 leaf. So if I need 4 leaves, it means I'm going to be cutting out 8 pieces of the leaves. So that's what I'm doing now. After tracing, I'm just going to cut it out, and then we can move on to the next stage. All right, I have 8 leaves already cut out, and I need you to pay attention because the wire I'm using here is 0.90 mm. It's thicker than 0.50 mm that I used earlier. So if you're used to skipping video tutorials because you think you already understand it, this is not that kind of tutorial. So what you're going to do is, for each petals, you apply UHU glue just right around the leaves, and then you place your 0.90 mm wire in between, and then you place 2 leaves together facing each other because you want it to give you one pair. You do it like a sandwich so that you can have a pair. So this is the leaf that I created, and the next thing is to give your leaves this feel of originality. I just use my hot iron to create that mark, or those marks rather. So this will give my leather this effect of original leaves. You know what I'm talking about, right? And that's what I'm just doing with the iron. So you see what I have right here. So I have 4 leaves. So now that I'm done with the leaves, let's move on to the next stage. Now let's move on. For my leather, I always appreciate or give thanks to God whenever my leather comes with a straight side, because it's always a blessing. Why did I say so? Because you always need leather strands to wrap for neat finishing. So if your leather comes with a straight side, please don't cut your leaves on those sides. Cut your leaf on the parts that are not straight, because the straight part will come in handy. So I'm just drawing a straight line and then cutting it out because I'm going to be needing it to wrap at the point where I'm trying to finish this headpiece. Now we have gotten to the final stage of this headwear making, which is Abaca silk headpiece. So I have my Alice band, my leather strips, my Milliner wire, my already coupled Abaca silk flowers, and you will notice that I just added a touch of cut at the edges of my leaves. So what I'm going to do is to wrap the leaves around the Milliner wire, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. Next thing is to apply some super glue so that my leaves can hold in place. Don't forget, we wrapped the 0.90 mm wire to the Milliner wire, so we want the 2 wire to hold. I'm giving you everything I know about making this Abaca headpiece, so please hit the subscribe button if you have not done that already. And the next step is to now attach the flowers to the Milliner wire as you like. Your arrangement is totally dependent on how you want it to sit. So it is time for us to cover all the naked wire. You see, it's not looking neat and beautiful, so you need those leather strands or stripes or strips to cover them neatly. So you apply UHU, and the next thing is to wrap the millinery wire. Just ensure you cover it as neatly as possible. That is what you want to achieve, neat finishing. So you see that it's very useful. So if you have not made use of the longer part or the straight side of your leather, you'll be forced to cut out your strips in pieces, and that may not help your finishing. So it's better to have a longer strand. Keep the straight part of your leather, keep it for this kind of assignment, right? So just keep it so that you can have strips or strands from it that you can be using to wrap up. So I'm going to wrap this up all through. You will see how it looks like, and then we'll move to the final stage, which is attaching this beautiful piece to a headband that can hold on the head. All you're just going to be doing at this stage, after you have covered up the back or the wire, you're going to be attaching it to a Alice band, whether metallic Alice band or plastic Alice band. Use your thread, your thick thread, to wrap it down. You wrap it as tightly as possible. When you are done, the next thing is just to use your leather strip again to cover the thread part that you have used to wrap. It's so simple. Just watch me as I do it. Now we have come to the end of the tutorial. Look at how it's looking, so beautiful and neatly done. You can bend it because the wire is flexible, and then it will still look nice. So thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have learned something nice today. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a nice comment for me. I'll see you in another tutorial. Bye.